I'm Sheila Redfern and I'm head of a group of clinical services at the Anna Freud National Centre for Children and Families. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how parents can talk with their children about mental health difficulties. The really important thing is not to make it a special conversation, but rather to try and incorporate it into part of normal conversations that families have amongst themselves, i.e. talking about feelings and thoughts and what's going on in a child's life and their internal world, not just what they've done in their day. So classically, children hate being asked, how was your day at school? Because they nearly always will say to you, fine. And that's the end of the conversation. But parents can try and encourage their child to get a little bit behind what happened during the day, more to the special things that maybe interested them, that might be starting from a positive perspective of kind of what was the best thing about the day, was there anybody that made them laugh that day, or it might be that they get into talking about thoughts and feelings via watching TV together, something really ordinary and everyday that isn't a question like, are you anxious or are you depressed? Because those are the kind of questions that children generally close down from. So what I would always advocate is that parents just incorporate conversations into everyday life about their child's thoughts and feelings about things. So if they've had a play date, say, or if they've had a day at school and they come back and they're a bit quiet, they might ask a question about, you know, when your teacher said this to you, how did you feel about that? Or if they're watching EastEnders together, they might ask a question about, you know, when those people had an argument together, what do you think the children felt like? See their parents arguing, which is a kind of really natural way of getting a child to open up a little bit about what might be going on in their mind without actually interrogating them. A lot of the time children will feel the main thing they've got to do is be happy. And all their parents want them to be is be happy, and parents get very worried about that too. I think that's the main emotion that their child's got to experience. And actually it's really helpful for children to experience the range of emotions. And sometimes when children are really, really sad, or parents are sad, that's the time that families come closer together and they kind of support each other and they can talk about feelings and thoughts more at that time. And it gives a little wind of opportunity for a parent then to say to a child what other worries they might have. So kind of normalising it is something that would be really, really important. The other thing is empathy goes a really long way. Parents often feel they've got to fix things, they've got to do something, they've got to change the situation. So if children are really upset about something or angry about something, parents and carers often think they've got to go in and fix it and do something. But actually sometimes just empathising with the feeling that a child has is enough to help the child feel supported, feel understood and feel closer to their family. So, you know, say a young person's feeling picked on at school, to actually a parent to leap in and think, right, I'm going to go and confront that other parent or go and talk to the teacher. That's often the last thing a child wants to do. But what they want their parent or carer to feel is actually they understand what that's like for me. And that can go a long way to making the situation a lot better. So some other tips that might be useful for parents or carers are things about where to have these conversations and how to have them, because a lot of people will feel it's really difficult to even just start it off. Places like the car are really good because you're sitting alongside a child often, and particularly adolescents, they don't really want to be sitting opposite their parent who's looking at them really intently saying, how do you feel? That's kind of hell. But actually if you're driving somewhere and you're just casually chatting in the car, that can be a good place to open up a conversation, or equally watching a movie together, sitting relaxing on the sofa as opposed to around a meal table. Sometimes children feel a bit cornered in that situation. So having a conversation about mental health that doesn't feel like you're being interviewed or assessed, or it doesn't feel like you're in therapy, is really important. Children don't want their parents to be their therapists, they want them to be their parents, but to actually show them that they're interested and understand a little bit of how they feel. And so a way to open that up is also just to ask very open questions, just be curious about how did you feel about that? What was that like for you? Is there anything you want to talk to me about? Rather than pressuring a child into saying something that they actually don't feel in the mood for. It's just really opening up a little avenue that says, if I'm here for you, if you do want to talk to me. But maybe even going a bit further than that and saying, you don't seem your normal self today, you seem a bit different, I just noticed that. And if a child shuts that down, then you can just say, that's fine, if you don't want to talk about it now, we'll talk about it later. But to really keep that open door all the time that says, if there's something difficult, I can understand. And that might involve a parent having to sit with a really difficult feeling that they don't actually feel that they know what to do with. So if a child tells them something that actually they feel a bit frightened by or really worried about, a parent needs to try and learn to manage that emotion in themselves and think, actually what my child needs right now is for me to not show that I'm really frightened by that feeling, that I can actually just sit with it and help them with it. And that's probably the most supportive thing they can do. So if you want to read more about these tips, there's a wealth of information available for parents and carers and teachers and anyone really working with children, available on our website, on the Anna Freud National Centre for Children and Families website, where there's also a leaflet that's downloadable and will give you further tips on how to talk mental health with your children.